Hi Delvers, welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we'll be running through limits, and just as the name implies, limits. It's an English word. It means basically to just reduce something, to restrict. I think that's a better word. To restrict something to an exact number, and that's what limit is all about in SQL. So let's just write a quick query. Let's go back to our Superstore database. So I'm just going to select everything. Just select, just give me a sec. Yeah, select everything. We're pulling that from our Superstore sales table, but I'm just gonna double click this. So I'm in that particular database. So just supermarket sales, and let's pull that up. Yeah. Yeah, so say for example we want to, so this is everything here. Just give me a sec. Yeah, there we go. So this is our result. So say for example I just want to limit the output. Now this is quite some number. It's close to about 20 different, or even more than 20, almost 30 different outputs. And let's say I just want to restrict that to the first 10, obviously based on how it's been ordered. So I'm just going to say limit. Now, two things can go into your limit. I'm going to do the first one now, then I'll explain the second one much later. So I'm just going to limit it to, no, I said 10. Just going to see 10. Or let's say 7. Yeah, just going to limit it to 7. And you see it returns it exactly the way, it returns the first 7 inputs, or the first 7 rows that is found in that particular table. So and that's about it. Now say for example we've made a categorization before. Say for example we've said where. Now this is quite similar to what we sometimes do on Excel, where we say the top 10, the top 100, and all of that. Top 10 sometimes, I don't know if you've used it before in Excel, where you just want a top 10 output. Now it's quite similar to this also, where you can just limit the number of rows. Now say for example I take this away, see, I now just want to limit it to so that's not gonna, the lowest you can get is 10 rows. So I guess that's where it gets a bit difficult or a bit different. So if I load that up now, it's gonna give me 10, yeah, so 10 rows. So that's just exactly how it works. And for the limit, as I said, that's what I've just done is just the first thing. Sometimes you can also specify a bit more. Say for example, let me just restrict it to 10. Let's just keep it that way. So you can specify a little bit more, some details. Say I want to limit. Now you can pass two numbers here, and it's going to define two different things. Now you can say I want to limit it to 3, then 5. Now what this means, in other words, is, now people don't use this. I'm not sure I've even used this at all, but I think it's important that you know, because sometimes you just can't tell when the use case of this might arise at your workplace. Now, so what this means is it will count the first 3 positions. After that, then it will limit the next 5 positions. That is, 3 will mean they start. So that's 1 through 3. So anything from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 3 things we should expect in our result. So let's load that and let's see what happens. Yeah, there you go. Those are the 3 things. Sorry, the 5. So it counts the first 3, exclude the third one, then returns the next 5 outputs. So basically that's how you can use the limit clause. It's pretty simple. I think it's also important that I emphasize that the limit comes after you have written all your query. So say for example this query has a where, just say for example, so it doesn't have a where, but let's say for example it has a where. So if they say probably has a where clause, and say the where clause is where the unit price, for example, say the unit price is greater than says greater than, let's say 50. Selling price greater than 50, and or let's say greater than 60, or yeah, let's say greater than 70, 60. So we know we should expect about, let's say 70. So we know we're expecting about 3 results. So, and so there's a problem there. Just give me a sec. Where the unit price, I'm just gonna, because of the space in between that column name, that's what's playing a role there. So that should work. I'm just gonna load that up quickly. Yeah, and it returns everything where the unit price is greater than 70. But the idea basically is limit would always come at the end of your query. You can't put a limit here. So you want to put a limit, say cut that, or I'm just going to take the numbers away. You can't put the limit here. It's just going to come up as an error. So I'm just limit 5. Can you see already? I already choose that there's an error in my code. You understand? So you can't limit anywhere else. It has to come at the end of your query. And I hope that makes sense. So the next lesson we're talking about aliasing, which is also a quite simple one. And I think after that will be like everything we need to know on the basics of SQL. So, but yeah, without further ado, I think that will be all for today. We'll come back next week as we go into aliasing. All right, take care. Bye.